Hi. There's a lot of things you can do if you're in the Linux world to get better at understanding your system and really being proficient in the environment that you're working in. And a lot of that comes down to time, but there are some things that you could do that really boost your efficacy very quickly. And one of those things that I've learned over time is actually it's called Over the Wire. And there's a website called overthewire.org, and it's very, very useful. I'll show you here. Um, and what I want to do with you guys today is just go over a specific level. This one is from the Bandit series. It's level 12. I haven't done this yet, but I want to just go over one of these things with you and just show you what it's all about. So essentially, there is a string of characters that you need to obtain in order to get to the next level. And every time you get to a next level, let me show you. You actually SSH grep bandit. Oh wait, no. History grep bandit. History grep bandit. Every time you get a password, you SSH into the next level, which is bandit 12, and the string of characters that you obtain from the previous level is the password. So I have a file here that I'm not going to show you, but it's made specifically for this over the wire thing, and this is where I just store the passwords and how exactly I got to the solution. So I have yet to do bandit 12, but I do have the password for bandit 11. So what I'm going to do is SSH-P into, okay, so yeah, -P 2220 bandit 11 at bandit.labs.overthewire.org. And I have that password in my clipboard. I'm just going to paste it in here and see what this is all about. So as you can see here, with every level, you have sort of a description of where the password is stored. Oh, is that not it? What's up with that? Oh, maybe this needs to be bandit 12. Yes, it is. Okay. So we have a description here of where the password will be stored. So we're just going to read that. The password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt, which is a hex dump of a file that has been repeatedly compressed. For this level, it may be useful to create a directory under /temp, in which you can work. Use makedir with a hard to guess directory name, or even better, use maketemp -d. The -d option, as you'll see, is to create a directory instead of a temporary file. So then copy the data using cp and rename it using mv. Okay. So we're going to man maketemp, just show you what that's all about. Oh, whoops, man maketemp. Create a temporary file or directory. And as you can see here, if we go down a little bit, we see that the -d option is in fact creating a directory. So we're going to do that. Make temp -d, and we are going to enter this directory. So I'm just going to copy and see if we can paste that in. So we're now in here. Now there is a file in our, we're going to list the contents of our root directory, or our home directory, I should say, and that contains our data.txt. We're just going to copy that over data.txt, cp data.txt, which is in our home directory, and we're going to put that in this directory right here. So now if we list the contents here, we see data.txt. And if we use the concatenate command, which is called cat, it's often used as an output for seeing the contents of a file. Data.txt, we see that it is in fact a hex dump. So what do we do here? A hex dump of a file that has been repeatedly compressed. So so commands that you need to solve this level: grep, sort, unique. I've used this in previous commands. I don't know if some of these are just red herrings. You don't need to use all of these. xxd, what's xxd? xxd, make a hex dump or do the reverse. Oh, well, that's useful. So maybe we'll use that for something. Revert. Convert or patch a hex dump into binary. This might be what we're looking for here. So if we take this file x6d, and we do it on data.text, we get this output, and it's not very readable. And as it said in the level, it's been repeatedly compressed. So let's try to put that into a new file. Let's call it data.gz. So cat data.gz, it should be the exact same thing. gz. It's the same thing, yeah. So what is our option here? Well, we're gonna take a look at the other things. I see zip2, bzip2, gzip. What's bzip2? Man, bzip2. I've already heard of gzip before, but block sorting. bzcat. bzcat, okay. File compressor. Decompress. Maybe bzcat might be helpful here. bzcat data.gz. Well, what if we move our data.gz into a data d. What would that be? bz2 file? d.bz2. What is a bz? I don't know what that is. So I'm going to take a look at the man page again, because that guess was not right. bz2 file name dot. bzip2. What was that thing I just read? Man, bzip2, because it said something about converting the file into a decompressed format. Unzip2. Unzip2 is what I'm looking for, or bzip2-d. So we're gonna try that. bzip2-d. What do you mean it's not? Okay, so what I'm gathering from here is that it's not compressed the same way as maybe some other compression algorithm is compressing it. So maybe we'll try gzip. So what's gzip? gzip2, compress or expand files. Well, okay, so we're looking for a decompress. So that's going to be -d, just like bzip2, and that's going to take a file of what? Okay, so it's .gz. That's going to be the file extension. So we're actually going to take d.bz2, and we're going to move d.bz2 to d.gz, and we're going to gzip-d, which is for decompress, and we're going to decompress d.gz, and that seems to have worked. Now we have d. What does d look like? It is still a bunch of gibberish. So we're going to try moving d to d.gz, since, as it said, it's been repeatedly compressed. I assumed using this algorithm. So, or maybe not. Maybe it's using another algorithm for different types of compression. But for this, we're going to try and decompress it again, d.gz. It's not in gz format. So maybe it's correct, and maybe I'm correct in the fact that it might be using different utilities to compress this repeatedly. So we're going to try and make that file a bz2 extension instead of a .gz. So move d.gz to d.bz2, and that was unzip2 d.bz2, and that worked. Cat d. It is still messed up. Let's try doing that again. So we have d. We're going to move d to d.bz2, and we're going to run the same unzip command. But it's not a bzip2 file. Okay, so maybe it's a gz file now. Move d.bz2. We're just going to move that back to gz, and now we're going to try gzip-d to decompress it further, and that worked. Now we have a d file. What does d? Okay, it's getting less and less obscure, and we're starting to see strings now. As you can see here, we have several readable strings that make sense. So let's try and do it one more time. Let's see what happens. D to d.gz, gzip. We're gonna decompress it again, d.gz, and that doesn't work because it's not a gzip format. So as we have figured out, it's sort of alternating between bzip2 format and gzip format, and we're going to move that d.gz into that bzip2 format again. Very repetitive stuff, but you can see here, you might be getting the idea of what I'm doing. D.bz2. Yep, and then we're going to decompress it again. bzip2 -d. Weird. What's going on here? I'm not sure. Really not quite sure. So we're gonna try and, I think I tried to decompress it with gzip and it didn't work, but I'm just gonna try it one more time. Yeah. Weird. Okay, so create a directory. Okay. Hex dump of a file that has been repeatedly compressed. I'm very confused as to what this should be. Data5.bin, data6.bin. What are we looking at here? Oh, tar. We also have tar. Maybe it's a tar file. Maybe we'll try that. Move d.gz tar. Because I can see here, there's a list of files. That's making me think that maybe this is a directory of some sort that we're going to unzip. And with tar, if we read the manual for tar, archiving program designed to store multiple files in a single file in an archive. So that's making me think, seeing all these different file names, that I presume, is that it's going to be a tar file. So we're going to move, I just know this off the top of my head, but it's usually tar.gz, the extension that we're going to use. So move the D file, we're going to move that to d.tar.gz. And now that we have that, I think we're going to tar xvzf. This is just for memory. X is for like decompress. V is for verbose, so we can see the output. Z is because it's zipped, compressed, and F is the specifier for the file. So that's going to be d.tar.gz. Maybe it's not zipped. And we have data5.bin now. Okay, so this is something new. Maybe, I think so. Strings data5.bin strings. Yeah, it is a little different, I think. Okay. Data6.bin. It's looking like that's the name of the tar, the thing that's included in the tar file. Like we've made a tar file, and inside the tar file was data5 last time. Maybe it's data6 this time. So I'm going to move data5. I'm going to move data5 into the data5.tar. And we're going to try that. Tar xvf data5.tar. And we get data6.bin. So data6.bin is a bunch of gibberish as well. And it looks like it's not the same. It doesn't have a file name at the start. So we're going to assume that maybe it's not a tar file anymore. Maybe it's zipped with something else. So we're going to take that data6.bin file and we're going to move it to data6.gz. We'll try that. So this is, as you can see, getting you very familiar with using the different gzip, bzip, tar applications or softwares, utilities, and just getting you familiar with how these things work. So we're going to do, we changed it into a .gz, so we're going to try gzip -d data6.gz. It's not in that format. bzip2, we're going to try this as well. And that seemed to have worked. And you can see here that there's a starting file name, which just pattern recognition makes me think that it is another tar file. So we're going to try in tar data6.gz.out, tar xvf data6.gz. And we get data8.bin, data8.bin. And you can see here that it has this at the start again, like another file name. We're going to try and tar xvf. This is also the same as -xvf. And what do we get? Did we get anything? Data8 dot tar. I don't know, there's so many files here, I'm not sure if that did anything. Data8.tar. This seems to have worked, but it didn't output anything. Maybe it's zipped. Move data8.tar to data8.tar.gz. Maybe it's zipped. No. .gz. I don't think that worked. Data8.tar.gz. Maybe it's not that. Root data8.tar.gz, data8.bz2. B unzip 2. Bunzip, that's funny. Data8.bz2. Not that, okay. Move data8.bz2, data8.gz. gzip -d data8.gz. And we get data8. Data8. And there we go, there's the password. Okay, so it was a bit of trial and error figuring out which compressions were used, but it was actually just a mixture of tar, gzip, and bzip2, and that's what got us this password. So I'm going to take that password, I'm going to put it in my description here for all my notes that I have. I'm going to say it took a while, but it was just a matter of figuring out which compression utilities were used in succession. After using xxd to revert the hex dump into its original binary form. So now that we have this password, I'm going to exit and we're going to try 13, and that will now work as the password to SSHing into Bandit 13. Isn't that cool? Okay, so what did we learn here? Well, we learned a few cool things. We learned a lot about compression. We learned about hex dumps with XXD. We learned about bzip2. I actually hadn't used bzip2 until this very moment, so I found that pretty interesting. Works pretty much the same as gzip, but I haven't really messed around with gzip either. I just knew that it was for compressing stuff. Mainly I just used tar to compress stuff. So that's good to know. Now I have like almost all 4 of these programs under my belt. I can use them in a way that I'm comfortable with. Okay, yeah. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you learned something from it, like, let me know. I hope you got something, took something away from this video. So over the wire, yeah. It's a really good resource for learning how to get intimately knowledgeable about your computer system and Linux in general, yeah. Okay, goodbye.